So without further ado, I want to bring you on a very good friend of mine who I respect very much for his knowledge and is helping me in so many ways. Mr. Ethan Leeds, it's all yours.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to be talking already, what we're going to be talking about, the latest frequency device from Olylife. This one is doing something very different to anything that we've thus far brought forward. So this one is designed to support one of the most common health challenges that many people face, which is excess abdominal fat. So this is extremely common, but also it's not just the fat that you can see, but also the visceral fat. The visceral fat is the stuff that you might not see so much, but it's on the organs, on the liver, for example. So that's its prime thing. Although it does two other major things as well. It also supports digestion and indeed helps with lower back pain or tension in the lower back. So let me just comment a little bit further on visceral fat, because some people get a little bit confused by that term. So visceral fat is different to the regular fat because it's metabolically active and it surrounds the organs where you really don't want fat, and it's releasing inflammatory chemicals, stress hormones, and free fatty acids directly into the bloodstream. One of the things that it interrupts is insulin signaling. So it increases systemic inflammation. It puts a strain, especially on the liver, the gut, the cardiovascular system, and it actually actively drives metabolic dysfunction. And as you can probably guess from the insulin signaling comment I made earlier, it's strongly associated with diabetes, but also heart disease, digestive issues, and chronic inflammation. I say all that just to let you know that what it's doing is really important. Okay, so this fat issue, I think everybody knows is a big problem, but the visceral fat is more of a problem, but it's less well known. Okay, so I'm just figuring out this slideshow thing. So one of the problems that many people find is it turns out to be very difficult for a lot of people to actually lose the fat, especially as they get older. And what we need to do to make it so that it's easier is find the right method and work with the body's physiology instead of against it. Because a lot of people, what they're doing inadvertently is working against their body, not with it, against fat metabolism and so on. So we need to work with our body. When we work with our body, when we work naturally, everything becomes so much easier. So I'm just waiting for the slides to catch up. They're moving really slow. There we go. Okay. So the Shaken is a device that's designed around established physical principles using energy, frequency, heat, and mechanical stimulation. What it does is it influences the circulation and the muscular support in a real targeted way to help reduce fat. And it does it with a whole host of different mechanisms. We're going to go through some of those mechanisms. It's not just using one mechanism, but it's combining actually 7 complementary different technologies, some of which you'll be familiar with, some of which you might not. But it's using, as you can see from the slide there, it's using ultrasound, it's using vibration, it's using heat therapy, massage, radio frequency, red light, and PEMF all in one. All of that all combined, really leaving fat nowhere to hide, especially around the waist and abdomen. Of course, you can actually move this belt around. It's specifically designed for the waist with the belt and so on, but you can move it around on your body wherever you might see fit. In fact, I will talk a little bit about moving it around to the back in a bit, if I remember. Okay, so now the ultrasonic technology. specifically targets the fat layers beneath the skin, encouraging the fat cells to release its stored lipids. Okay, and the vibration stimulates the muscle contraction, which helps to compress fat tissue. And the heat therapy improves circulation, and we know how important that is. So all of that combined supports the body's natural fat metabolism pathways. So really important to be using all these different technologies together. So radio frequency, what that does is it gently heats up the deeper tissue layers to support collagen production and, importantly, muscle elasticity. Okay, the red light supports cellular metabolism and tissue recovery. So we've got a whole lot of things going on. The massage improves lymphatic flow, which reduces the kind of heavy congested feeling that some people feel. Whether you feel it or not, a lot of people are congested, especially their lymph flow. Many people know that they are, other people don't. But it's really important that you get that flow going. Okay, so then we have the device going beyond fat burning, which I've already mentioned. So the low frequency PMF works deeply to help regulate cellular energy, microcirculation, and inflammation. Some of those things we're used to hearing from the P90. And by the way, this thing works even better when it's combined with the P90. Not at the same time, but when you're using the P90 and this in the same day, the P90 escalates all of these benefits. So the shaken supports intestinal rhythm, it eases digestive sluggishness, and it reduces lower back and lumbar tension. I'm saying tension to be kind of politically correct, tension, pain, whatever. And it's obviously going to especially help those that carry more abdominal weight, or those that have a sedentary lifestyle, or kind of I've got a bit of a sedentary lifestyle, I've got to be honest. But those people are going to get even more support and help from this. Okay, so it offers 3 basic modes. So let me just go through those modes, as you can see on the slide right in front of you. So one is body shaping, and that's the comprehensive fat burning part of what it's doing. The second is the massage mode, which is for deep core relaxation and organ support. Okay, and then you've got the heat therapy mode, which is for gentle warmth, and that's particularly useful. Especially, I've been talking a lot about menstrual stuff recently. Some of you have seen my video I did yesterday on the pads. But anyway, so it's very useful also for menstrual or in general lower abdominal discomfort. And all of this is controlled with a single button. It's very easy to control, and I'm just going to touch later, just briefly as well, on a smartwatch that can be used in conjunction with it. It's not needed, but it can be used and basically directed from the smartwatch. Okay. Let me just, okay. So you can then adjust the intensity and the modes directly on the device, as I was just saying, or through a smartwatch interface. And I will again touch on the smartwatch just briefly right at the end. And so built-in sensors will track the metrics. This is the smartwatch I'm talking about, like heart rate, blood oxygen, and so on. And that allows you to be more aware of what's going on and to adjust settings and so on. So the smartwatch is pretty cool, but not necessary, although you're going to find out something nice about the smartwatch at the end if you don't already know. So now the design of this belt is very flexible. It fits around, I can't remember the inches of it. Maybe if Luigi knows, he can put it in the chat, the inches of the waist that I think it might be 60 inches, but you can also get an extra belt if you need more, but also it doesn't even need to be fastened, so it really can go anywhere on the body. So it's very, very comfortable. It's a mix of silicone and stainless steel components, which ensures that the conduction is great. It's durable. It's very, very comfortable. I haven't tried one yet, haven't got one, but you're going to be hearing a little bit later from someone who's and hopefully seeing one actually in real life, because they are now starting to be delivered. first people are actually getting them. Okay, so now obviously the people it's going to be best suited for are going to be those with extra fat around their waist. Now, sometimes that fat is not visible, so there's plenty of skinny people who have visceral fat. So just being slim doesn't mean that your organs are not fatty. Lots of people are aware of that, and that fat, that visceral fat, is the most difficult to get rid of. And using this device, you can literally burn up to 1,000 calories a day extra if you're using it twice a day and you're wearing it front and back. So you put it on the front first and then you put it around the back. And when you're putting it around the back, that will be dealing with different fat, but also that's when the lower back tension is going to be supported and helped. Okay, let's okay, so this is just waist circumference instructions. This is coming from the WHO standards, and it's just advised that when you start using Shaken, that you actually measure your waist and keep a track so that you can monitor progress in the area that it's so good at, which is reducing that surface fat that most of us that have it want to get rid of. Okay, so we're coming towards the end of the slides. I've already mentioned this, that when combined with the P90, it enhances the use. So using the P90 will support everything that Shaken Massager is doing. Okay, so using them as a combination is going to get you the very, very best results. But just to be clear, you do not need to use them both. You can eat both of them independently, work really, really effectively. So don't think you have to have both, but it is recommended if you can. Now, one of the nice things is they're so easy to use that you can use them in, when you're traveling, at work, exercise, etc. It's just something you can carry with you and use in any sort of normal situation. While you're in the office, I could use this while I was doing this talk if I wanted to do so. So very, very easy to use. And okay, so as I come to the end of the slides, I just want to explain that this is not a device that's about forcing fat loss. It's really important to understand that. It's about supporting the body's natural systems. So you're supporting the circulation, the metabolism, digestion. That's an important facet of weight loss, supporting digestion. You're supporting muscular balance. So you're bringing your body into balance so that it can do what it wants to do, which includes balancing many things. And in this case, balancing the fat levels that shouldn't be stored there, but are being. So now I told you that I was going to mention something nice about the smartwatch. What's really cool right now about the smartwatch is $500, but you get it free right now with every Shaken order. Every time you order a Shaken right now, you'll get a free smartwatch worth $500. So now I will just say there are people who are a little bit resistant to wearing a smartwatch for reasonable reasons, because all devices that you wear, they all have EMFs, and that goes with smartwatches as well. Any electronic device that you'd be wearing, and some people don't want to do that. So what I would say to those people is that I'm in that club. I wouldn't wear a smartwatch permanently, but you don't need to do that. This smartwatch you can wear temporarily to monitor what's going on in your body, to learn what's happening, to see patterns so that you can adjust things according to what's going on in your body. And then you can take it off. So it's not something that you need to wear permanently if you're one of the people that doesn't like, wearing things like that on a permanent basis. Now, in the future, maybe I shouldn't go into the future, but in the future, just as a little bit of excitement, the smartwatches in the future from Olylife, they're going to have smartwatches that actually give out PEMF from the smartwatch, which will be super, super cool. that'll be the time when I'll be wearing a smartwatch permanently. But for now, that's not the case. But as I say, I really think it will be a valuable thing to do to learn what's going on in your body so that you can make adjustments according to your personal body and what's going on in your body. So that is a quick overview of exactly what the shaken is.